Okay, so let's keep moving. So we'll continue where we left off. I'm going to go with this. I like the way this looks with the little effect we put on it. All right, now let's take a look at some background images. I opened this up from the folder as well. Let's go image size. So this is 7 by 5 by 7 by 5 at 300. We can't cover the whole background with it, but there are some, when you have something more uniform like this, there's some tricks you can use to repeat this pattern. So let's first off go to image canvas size. I'm going to take a look at this right here. So this dot shows you where the canvas will be added. So right now, when I make this canvas bigger, and the canvas is not the image, the canvas is what the image is sitting on, it will fill in all around the image. I'm going to click the dot to the top, and now the image will be at the very top and all the white space will be around it. So that's how these work. It's showing you how it will fill the information in. So I'm going to put 11.25. Why the 25 if it's 11 by 17? Remember, we need to have image bleed, meaning we need to have a little extra that goes past 11 by 17 so it can be printed on a bigger page and trimmed down so there aren't little white lines all around the image that's supposed to be full bleed. So if you have a pattern like this covering everything on your image, or a color that goes all the way to the edges, you need to add bleed. Okay, 11.25 by 17.25. And there we go. So there you go. You can see how much is empty. I'm going to select the white area. And again, this is another thing. It's a trial and error thing. Depending on your image, it might work better or worse. But if you go to Edit, Fill, Content Aware, Edit, Fill, Content Aware, and hit OK. What Content Aware does is it'll examine this and try and tile it on your page. So let's see how well it does. I mean, that looks pretty good. There's a couple little glitchy areas at the top here and down here. I don't know how much that'll matter since we're putting other things over this. Yeah, that's a little weird there, but at the top will be the image and there's going to be text and stuff. So I think this will be fine. Okay, so Command A, Command C, and I'm going to go here and hit Command V. It's going to paste at the top. That's okay. I want to drag it to the bottom. We've got to unclick the lock here on this layer that says background and drag it to the bottom. Uh-oh, we have a problem. That's if this document isn't, of course, the right size. So we have to also go to our canvas size here. And the same, I'm going to type in 11.25 by 17.25. There we go. Hit OK. And I will repaste that in. There we go. I'll just delete this layer. And I'll hit Command 0. All right, so we probably want to move this up. And it's in 2 layers right now. So I'm going to shift click both of these. I'm going to go across from the word layers here to where all these little lines are. And I'm going to say merge layers. Now, if you're on the Mac, you can hit Command E. Command E for elephant. So now I've merged them together. I don't want them to be separate. So I'm going to hit V on the keyboard for the move tool. And I'm going to move this all the way up here. All right, so there we go. Now, if you remember, we can paste vector-based images into here. So that is what we're going to do next, is we're going to paste some vector-based images. So we have to open up Illustrator. Okay, so in Illustrator, this is in the folder. I've opened this up, and these are some picture frames. Oop, right here on top is a crazy texture. So if you download these free vectors, lots of times you have to ungroup them. Sometimes they have clipping masks you have to release. So let me just move this texture out of the way, which, you know, maybe this dot texture would be fun in Photoshop. I don't know. So I'm right now interested in this picture frame, and I can see, oh yeah, that all those shadows are grouped together, and this is also grouped together. So this doesn't have a clipping mask, but how would you tell if something had a pattern and it was in an object? You would say object, clipping mask, release. You can see right there is clipping mask make under object in the menu. So I'm going to click on this and say object ungroup. So let's see, I don't want this inside part. I don't need it. I just need this frame. So now I've got this frame, and I'm going to select it, and I'm going to hit Command C on the keyboard to copy this frame. All right, so we're back in Photoshop. And now I'm going to hit Command V for victory to paste in our frame. And this is going to come up. We don't want to paste it as pixels. We want to paste it as a smart object, meaning it will stay a vector image. And we know the difference between vector images they are based on points and mathematical calculations, and they have sharp, clean edges, and you can resize them or make them smaller indefinitely. They are resolution dependent, unlike our pixel-based images. So you can put vector-based images into Photoshop. So paste as smart object. And by the way, make sure that add to my current library is not checked, because it seems to make at least my Photoshop freak out. All right, and it comes up with a bounding box, and I can pull it out to match my photo. And there we go. And I can rotate it out here if I wish to make it more straight. And then once I have it, I can either double click inside or hit return. So now it still looks a little crooked, and to get back into that, you hit Command T for Tom, or any other T word you like. There we go. Now, when we go over here to our layers, we see it says Vector Smart Object, and that there's this little symbol right here, the Smart Object thumbnail symbol. If that symbol isn't there, if I accidentally rasterize it, meaning turn it to a pixel-based image, it'll still say Vector Smart Object because that's the name, but that symbol won't be there. So, and in fact, I could rename it if I want, frame, there we go. This symbol is what tells you it's a Vector Smart Object. And we know that if I didn't say I didn't want this frame to be white, I could double click this and it will take me to Illustrator. And let me just show you that real quick. So double click this right here, and so here we are. It opened up in Illustrator. Here it is. Let's say I'm going to click on the color swatch and change the color of it. And now all you would do is hit Command S to save it. And by the way, you could modify it. You know, you could change the points or something. on this. Let's say I wanted to, you know, if I wanted to edit it at all, I could do that. And when I hit save, with just Command S on your keyboard, it will update in Photoshop. So I can even change the shape, I can change the color, and then hit Command S to save it. And when I go back to Photoshop, it has updated and changed color. I couldn't get back quick enough before it updated to show you it changing color in real time, which is kind of fun actually. Yeah, it's fun. All right, so I'm actually going to go to double click over here in this gray area by the word frame, and you get up all these options, all these different effects. Don't ever go crazy on these. You know, you don't want to put every effect in the world on just because it's cool. Maybe open up a document and do that to get it out of your system and be done with it. But you want to be careful with these. So I'm going to put a drop shadow just to kind of make that frame pop a little. And by the way, if you want to see the options for drop shadow or any of these effects, you just click on it, make sure you've selected it, and then you can see here's my parameters. So maybe I want to make, you know, as I'm moving it, I can make my shadow distance bigger. I can make my shadow spread, like how far out it's spread, bigger. I can make the size bigger. I can make, if I bring this all the way up to 100% opacity, it's like really black and that doesn't look so hot, but I can make it more or less opaque. You can change the blending mode. You can change the color, and maybe I will do that to a kind of dark brown. That might fit better. And there we go. So now this is popping out. Looks like the picture is in the background of the frame.